Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's former personal lawyer turned deputy assistant attorney general, came out this week and announced officially the DOJ will not be investigating Jonathan Ross, the officer that killed Renee Nicole Good. No investigation. Not happening. Specifically, Todd Blanche said there is currently no basis for a criminal civil rights investigation. Without elaboration, he said the killing does not merit a DOJ investigation, and agency spokespeople did not immediately respond to requests to comment on what would provide a basis for an investigation. So, we won't know anything. And, that kind of seems a little weird, right? Because the administration has made all sorts of wacky claims about the officer, like he's got internal bleeding. And yet, he appeared totally fine. The vehicle, we can see from all angles, literally never hit him. And he didn't stay in a hospital. Honestly, we don't even know if he actually went to a hospital. I would like to see medical records. The administration says he did, and then said he was released. But they don't release you if you have internal bleeding. So you would think this administration would want the investigation to prove themselves right. So we could be like, look, we did the investigation. Here's the medical records. Here's the doctor's report. Here's the, internal imaging that shows the bleeding, the hemorrhaging. He was justified. Like we said, boom. But no. I can't for the life of me think why they wouldn't want to do that. That's a head scratcher. I guess we'll never know. But fear not, folks, because the DOJ did in fact announce we are doing an investigation into the whole situation, because they're investigating Renee Good and her widow instead. The FBI, not investigating Jonathan Ross, the man who killed Renee Good. Nope, they're investigating Renee Good and the widow to find out, let me read this, looking into whether Good was involved with organizations protesting the Trump administration's immigration policies. They're investigating whether or not she was involved with organizations that protested Donald Trump. Did any part of that statement sound illegal? Nope, because none of it is. Protesting literally anything in the United States is a protected form of speech guaranteed to us by the United States Constitution. It is not illegal to be a part of a protest. It is not illegal to be part of a group that puts on a protest. But they're investigating her because now they're trying to corroborate Donald Trump's claim that she's a paid agitator. And holy fuck, how many years have we been listening to these dumbasses, 10 years now at least that I know of, telling us that all these Democrats out there in the streets, anytime, they're being paid by somebody. 10 fucking years of that same goddamn talking point, and 10 years without a single piece of evidence. 10 years. If I seem a little angry right now, it's because I fucking am. They're still using this god-awful, idiotic talking point that has never bore fruit. Never. No pay stubs, no check stubs, no bank records, no infiltrators finding out that, haha, I got the check, here it is. Nobody, because it doesn't exist. And if you think that that is a thing, then you're the dumbest person on planet Earth. I just, God bless. It's one of those goddamn things that sends me over the edge. Every time. Every time. And this woman who is dead, the widow who lost her spouse, they're now subjects of criminal investigations. instead of the man that took her life. And they're investigating her on something that they know doesn't exist, but they think it exists because that's how the right operates. They're the ones who have these well-organized things going all the way back to the Tea Party that, turns out was funded by the Koch brothers at the time. It was an AstroTurf movement, not a grassroots movement, because the whole thing was fake. All of these things on the right are corporate-backed. Somebody is paying the bills. Somebody is pulling the strings. They've got corporate sponsors. They've got the billionaires. Turning Points USA, all of these groups wouldn't exist without that right-wing money. And because they do it, and because their whole movement is fake, they assume that everything on the left is as well. Well, I can tell you, from being involved in the progressive movement for over 2 decades, being a part of different organizations that have literally begged for money from George Soros and never gotten a damn dime, I can tell you from personal experience, we're all on our own. There is no well-funded network out there putting us together and getting people to go and paying for buses to send them places. It simply doesn't exist. I wish it did, but it doesn't. And now you're going to drag these women's names through the damn mud just to try to prove the liar-in-chief correct when you all know that he's lying through his teeth. While talking about these things, you do get emotions. And if you don't get emotions, if you don't get that anger or the sadness or the joy sometimes, then don't do this, right? I mean, there's a lot of folks out there, not a lot, but there are some who, you can tell like, they're faking emotion or they don't sound sincere. And I think those people kind of drag everything down, and that's what separates what we do like this from like the regular corporate news, the CBS evening news, if anybody still watches that. I don't think anybody does based on the ratings data, but there's just, blah, 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 blah. No. If you're talking about something and it doesn't move you in any way, it's not something you should be talking about. Talk about what you care about. Let people see that you care. And that's your wheelhouse. That's what you do. So I do like that. Scientists recently discovered a new evolutionary trait in puppies, and it's that they cannot grow up and reach their full potential unless you subscribe to this channel. Don't do it for me, folks. Do it for little Atlas and Judge here. Good boys. You do good. You want to say something? No? Okay.